Welcome back to Mustache Moto. It's Ben, and today we got a little maintenance work to do. I was out riding in the mountains yesterday, and on my way home I heard a little bit of grinding out of the rear brakes. So I went and took a look, and you can see I've actually worn out the rear pads and started to grind into the rotor just a little bit. Luckily, it's just some surface marks, so it's not really damage to the rotor, but it's definitely time to get those rear pads changed. I should have checked them a long time ago. Anyway, so I have heard that you can change these pads without actually taking the caliper off of the bike. So we're going to try and do that. I've taken the hugger off of the back just so you can see better, and to give myself a little bit better access to that. That's just the 3 Torx bolts to get that out. And I think we're going to be able to do this with just a pair of needle nose pliers. And of course, we've got some new pads. I got EBC FA 209 2HH pads. That's what this calls for. So should be able to put these in without taking this off. Let's give it a shot. So obviously took the hugger off. First thing I'm going to do is we need to push the pistons into the caliper so we've got room for the new pads. You can actually do this by hand, and we're just going to kind of grab on the bracket here or the wheel, and we're going to push towards the wheel. Now it takes a good bit of strength, but you'll see it start to push in, and you need to push it all the way in. Now, a word of caution here: push it about halfway, go around and check your master cylinder, your rear master cylinder, because you're pushing the fluid back up into the master cylinder, and if that's been topped off since the last pads were changed, you could actually overflow the master cylinder. So if it gets up to the maximum or above, you need to open that up and suck some of the fluid out of it. So I'm going to push this in some more. Let me go check real quick. Right up about the maximum line, but not all the way. All right, and you really need to make sure you get this all the way in, because otherwise you're not going to get the new pads won't fit in, I think. All right, we got that. So I can take my pliers and I'm going to pull out these 2 safety pins here. These little cotter pins. Set those aside. Those are out. Look, that pushes right through. It comes out the back. And look at that. That just fell right out. Look at that. That's all the way to the edge, but worn pretty darn evenly. You can see that. All right, get that pin the rest of the way. And the other one just dropped down. Now that one is gone. Look at that, worn totally out. So we've got a clip on the back side of this one. That's on the outside. I'll rip these open. So I'm going to take this off and just put it right back on the next one. So when you're going to slide it in, this is going to go up and hook, and then this will come up for the pin. You got to kind of push the piston that, or the caliper that direction. All right. Let's see, it's not quite up in there. There we go. And then push that pin, you gotta push the pad up And then we're going to try and slide that pin in just enough to hold that in place. Let's see there. I think actually I might have gotten the backing plate off a little bit. There we go. All right, so I've got it through that part. And let's see if we actually push that far enough. So this little hook actually goes into the bracket, not into the caliper, so it's got to go all the way past it. This is going to be a tight fit here. I'll try pushing that a little bit. There we go. Got that pin a little too far out. There we go. Don't get any grease on the pad. If you got anything on your hands, you don't want to make it slippery. All right. That's in. All we got to do now is put these two little pins in. I'm going to rotate that pin a little bit. There we go. That's it. Two things I wanted to mention. First is if your caliper is grungy, nasty, dirty, any rust on it, anything like that, go ahead and take the caliper off, unmount it so you can get a good look at it and get it good and clean before you put it back on. Mine was in good shape, mine looked good, so I didn't think there was any need to do that, and easy to slide the pads in and out. The second thing is for the first 100 miles or so, just take it a little easy on your brakes. They're going to stop you just fine if you need them, but they can get a little hotter than normal as they're bedding in and mating to the surface of the rotor. So just be a little bit easy on it for about 100 miles, and you'll probably end up getting more longevity out of the brakes because of that. We just did a pad change that quickly. Slide them in, slide them out, slide them in. You're done. Now, the one thing you got to make sure you remember to do is go pump your rear brake, because there's not going to be, the first time you hit that pedal, there's going to be no pressure on those pads. And if you don't do that and you get on to ride, you could crash because you're going to hit the rear brake and nothing's going to happen. So just go over there, pump it up and down a couple times till it gets tight. Then go out, take it for a spin and make sure everything works fine. All right, now you can change the pads yourself. Get out there and ride.